A recent study has just revealed what it really costs to maintain and run a car. The cost to maintain and run a Tesla is something that people don't usually factor in when they buy it. Now, a lot of people are comparing cars like, say, BMW and Tesla, but it's extremely, extremely rare in those comparisons for people to actually consider the cost of ownership. This adds a huge amount of money. This new study shows the real difference in cost of ownership and running costs between a Tesla and everything else. The difference is actually enormous. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. The 10-year cost to own and maintain and repair a Tesla is much cheaper. In fact, it's well under 50% less than what it is to own, say, for example, a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz. Tesla's 10-year maintenance and repair costs are, in fact, by far the most affordable in the entire automotive industry, as shown in new data which was publicized just a couple of days ago. The total 10-year cost of maintaining and repairing a Tesla is by far the cheapest in the industry according to Consumer Reports. This data shows that over the course of a decade, Tesla's averaged only $4,000 in maintenance. I don't know how this is possible, but yeah, $4,000 in maintenance and repair costs compared to those of, say, Land Rover and Porsche. Land Rover was $19,250, Porsche was $14,000. You're probably thinking, well, I don't own a Land Rover or a Porsche, but actually, if you look at this list, it's really, really interesting because 4 out of the 5 least expensive brands to maintain were US brands, but they're not the ones you'd probably think they would be. And the difference to maintain a car on average between some brands can be thousands and thousands of dollars over a 10-year time frame, said Stephen Ellick, program leader for auto data analytics at Consumer Reports. Also, expensive luxury vehicles are quite expensive to maintain over time, he said. Most people know that, but they kind of get excited and they go, oh wow, there's a big discount here from BMW or whoever it is, and they just ignore. They try to pretend as though that running costs are not going to affect them. Ownership costs won't affect them. It's sort of something you put to the side, kind of compartmentalize this information. It's probably worth knowing it though. Tesla was first, Buick was second. Buick was surprisingly not that far behind. Tesla, $4,900. Toyota was next at $4,900 as well. Lincoln, $5,040. Obviously, Buick and Lincoln, they're pretty niche brands, so probably not all that relevant here to this data. If you are considering a luxury model, it may be wise to purchase one from a domestic brand that may have lower maintenance and repair costs, said Consumer Reports. For example, over 10 years, Mercedes-Benz models are well over double the cost to maintain and repair a Tesla. The team behind the analysis reached out to members in its 2023 annual automotive surveys to let them know how much they paid out of pocket for total maintenance. That included oil changes, servicing, repairs, etc. I think this list, it's a good list, but this data will change. This data will change, and what will happen is you'll find that Tesla's price there will go down. The cost to own and operate a Tesla will decrease because this includes Tesla Model S's and Model X's. They are much more expensive to maintain and repair than a Tesla Model 3 and a Tesla Model Y. And the newer Teslas, we're also seeing the battery packs last incredibly long to the point where it's extremely rare. For taxi companies now, they're very often getting Model 3s and Model Ys because it's extremely rare to need to replace the battery pack. Even after the vehicle has done more than 300,000 miles, they're still going. It's more common that the vehicle will simply be retired because it's old, not because the battery pack has any issues with it. So you'll find normally with an internal combustion engine vehicle, you hit 300,000 miles, you need a new engine. You need a rebuild. You need major work done to the car. That's if you even get to 300,000 miles. I've never even gotten close to 300 miles in an internal combustion vehicle before I've had to just basically have it scrapped. If you have, I'm surprised because you're definitely in the minority. Internal combustion engine vehicles are generally scrapped. They generally have a lifetime of only 160,000 miles, which is very small in comparison to Tesla vehicles, which are averaging over 300,000. So looking at these numbers, you can see Toyota's pretty good. Ford, pretty good. Ford and Toyota, pretty similar numbers there. Chevrolet, about the same as well. Hyundai, about this, getting a slightly more pricey, but not too much more. Nissan, a little bit more pricey. Now we're having a look at, say, for example, Honda and Kia, a couple of thousand, probably about $2,000 more for their, apparently this costs to run it. I don't understand how that's possible, considering you don't have to service a Tesla and you have to service a Honda and a Kia. And in fact, all these legacy automotive cars, you have to service them to maintain your warranty. That's a significant cost. Here in Australia, guys, I don't know how this works in America, but here in Australia, those servicing fees, especially when you get the servicing fee when you need to change your timing belt, you need to get, spark plugs changed, your major service, that normally costs you a couple of $1,000s here in Australia. So these numbers here don't really add up, in my opinion. I don't understand how, for example, you can have a Honda vehicle and annual costs are only $5,800 after 10 years of servicing and repairs and maintenance. That doesn't sound right to me, but that's what people said. Dodge was next. Now we're getting a bit more expensive here with Dodge and Jeep at $6,400 each. Chrysler, about the same. Volkswagen, surprising. Pretty expensive with Volkswagen, $6,500. Cadillac, about the same. Ram, still $6,500. Now, looking at the expensive ones, GMC and Subaru. I mean, Subaru's price here is quite high. $7,200 for both GMC and Subaru. Mini pricey. Acura, that seems surprisingly high. Infiniti. Now, this is where we're getting to the high spots. And this maybe is a bit of a concern. Volvo. Now, I owned a Volvo. My servicing and repair costs were actually pretty low. But Volvo owners in the US are saying their costs are about nearly $10,000 over 10 years. That's pretty pricey. BMW, $9,500. Audi, $9,900. Mercedes-Benz, the third most expensive at $10,500. Big difference between servicing, say, a Mercedes-Benz C-Class and an equivalent Tesla Model 3. Huge difference there in terms of the longevity of the vehicle as well. Porsche, I think you'd expect this with Porsche, $14,000, and Land Rover, an insane $19,000. I don't know. If anyone's buying a Land Rover and they're not really rich, wow, that's crazy. Guys, what are your thoughts on this data? It's worth mentioning electric cars in this list. They weren't compared. Now, are your costs going to be less for an electric car if you buy one from Kia or Hyundai or Volkswagen? They probably will be. It's very, very likely. But keep in mind, buying a car from Legacy Auto, it is a requirement in most countries worldwide that you service it for the life of the warranty. Otherwise, your warranty is voided. That's a significant percentage of these costs here. Like I said, that major service, generally, most manufacturers are charging you about $2,000 now for that major service. That's going to come up within 10 years. That's a big chunk of these fees. Now, you don't need to do those major services with an electric car, but legacy automakers tell you do, and they still charge you for them. They'll charge you a massive service for your electric car. Around about that point, we're getting 60 to 80,000 miles. It's ridiculous. It's unneeded, but they do it because, well, it's how they make money. Thanks for watching.